Hey everybody, how's it going? On today's video, we are going to be talking about, yes, another lit RPG. I know we took a break from lit RPGs from last week's video, but we're back on the horse talking about lit RPGs. So, what lit RPG am I going to be talking about today? Well, that one is Winter's Harvest, a lit RPG sci-fi adventure Space Seasons Book 1. This is by Don Chapman and narrated by Neil Helger. This audiobook length is 13 hours and 23 minutes, and this one is a doozy. The author, Miss Dawn Chapman, went ahead and gave me the audiobook to the Omnia series of the first 4 books. So you still got 4 books after listening to what I have to say, and hopefully it'll pique an interest and get you into it. And yeah, I really enjoyed this series, and I was really excited after learning a little bit about it and then getting my hands on a code for Audible, and just super excited to talk to you about it today. So yes, this is Winter Harvest. Let's go into a little bit of a summary about this. This is my summary. I will have the summary from the author on Audible and a link in the description of this video below. So Winter's Harvest. This universe is in a kind of more sci-fi, not really magical age where you're just heavy tech, but there is a war being fought, and the government needs its soldiers, so no slackers. And in this case, it is very intense, where if you're someone that is a deadbeat, someone that has been charged with multiple crimes, you will die, and then your consciousness will be uploaded into this system, and you'll be jetted light years away fighting a war to keep everybody safe. So nobody's a slacker in this universe. And also, it's gotten to the point where if you fail certain exams, certain tests, you go ahead and they decide you are not useful and kill you, upload your brain to the system, and then send you off to go fight the war to keep everybody safe, so you can at least do some good for us. Jeez, that was an intense first bit as I was getting into this this audiobook. But yeah, so we run into Kyle. Kyle is our main character, and he is a straight A student. So it gets a little fishy when his test results come back that he failed, and he can't see the results. Again, it's getting fishy, and he's getting super anxious because now he is deemed useless and has to go to this war that he doesn't even want any part of, and he's just like kind of freaking out. So he spends I think a day or two kind of preparing himself before he gets sent off. But before he's sent off, before he's like euthanized, I guess is maybe a term you could use, there's something sketchy that the doctor that's administering this cocktail to him says, and he kind of like freaks out. But he's already dying. He's dead. He's getting uploaded, and he's getting shot across the universe. Kyle gets into the craziest run and gun espionage, going from point A to point B to point C in such a quick turn, and he's got to keep up with all these like hectic events happening in his life, in his new life, as he's in this new war on keeping the enemy away and making sure his people back home are safe. And then there's a little bit of more of like, well, becomes a little bit of more of a shady program, and why are we here? And it gets into all that, and it's just super exciting. Again, this is going to be book 1 of a 4 video series, because as of right now, this series has 4 books out right now, and it looks like there will be more coming to Audible soon. I see on the authors list that 6 and 7 might be coming out sometime to Audible. So, or I guess 5 and 6, something along those terms. But yeah, so that was a little bit of my summary of what's beginning to going on in Kyle's life in this series called Space Seasons, in book 1 of Winter Harvest, and it's intense. The second I got this book, and used the credit, used the code to get it, and started listening to what I was going to get myself into. Oh my goodness. It was like, go, go, go. It's like, you're not going to ask questions about your test results because in the next day or two, so you better say goodbye to everybody and do the last things you want to do before you're gone. And oh, don't try to run. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my gosh, this is a lot different than what I've experienced in some of my other lit RPG audiobooks. But it was definitely a breath of fresh air, a new experience. It wasn't kind of like what, I don't know, I don't want to say others are just creating the same stories but similar, but like for some reason this series, this first book was just kind of like a nice wake up to like, wow, this is interesting. This is something that I want to like keep going into. And it was just a breath of fresh air for books that I've been listening to lately. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into some of the pros for this audiobook and audiobook series that I would like to say. And every time I do one of these, I always want to say that I am making these videos. So if you are interested, go ahead and get in on it. And if you are not interested, it just saves you some time and maybe something that you just didn't want. So you save a credit, some money, and especially some time. This is for you. But if it is for you, then I've just made a credit worth spending and some amazing moments as you listen to this audiobook series. So pros, it was a great shakeup. This was something that has just been different from what I've been listening to lately. And it was a nice, like, the writing just kind of was like, oh, hey, this is not like the usual, I don't know, rhythm of lit RPG books that I've been listening to lately. This kind of shook that up and just got really interesting. And I really enjoy Kyle's character and how he's being thrown into all these situations that he wasn't asked to be a part of, but he's not going to just allow it to take advantage of him. He's like, no, I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to figure out what's going on behind the scenes, what are these shady deals, shady systems, who is the real enemy, and I just got to figure out more and more and more. And also, Kyle is like an engineer and coding, and someone that has actually passed, like, it was in college and took this like his final exam at the end of his college days. But I think so. But the point was the kid's smart. The kid's a coding genius, and he's really good at what he does. So it was a little weird that he, again, starting the book, it's like kind of weird that he was like chosen to go and get uploaded into the system and fight for a government. But his coding and tech skills come into it, and that's what I really enjoy about Kyle's character, that he starts finding back doors and getting a hold of equipment that he's not supposed to get, but since he's got the know-how and the information and the skills to do so, he goes ahead and gets himself into some interesting situations. And people are just kind of like, what? That's not supposed to happen, like multiple times to him. And Kyle's like, psh, maybe for you, but for me, I can make it happen. But yeah, just an interesting character. And the characters that he runs into, whether they're just really brief, because most of the characters he's running from he's running from thing to thing, and he gets some characters that he talks to, trusts, some betrayals, some got to use this person before I push them off and get to my goals. It's just very intense in that how well Kyle's handling all the situations and all the interactions of other people, whether they're good or bad, or an upcoming challenge that he has to overcome. But yeah, really like Kyle's character. And another thing is, I really enjoy the more sci-fi, more tech side of things in this upload universe. It is kind of made as a video game. You're still leveling, you want to learn skills, and you want to learn spells, and you want to be able to do these certain, you want to get higher levels so you get more power, which is, always kind of a lit RPG thing most of the time, with like leveling and getting stronger and overcoming obstacles and all that good stuff. So I really like the more sci-fi instead of the fantasy portion of the series that this one offers. So yeah, love the sci-fi. I love the, again, just new twist on things that isn't the same as a lot of other lit RPG series that I've been reading or / listening to recently. So yeah, really like the sci-fi twist to the series. But yeah, and the story is there's just at the speed it keeps going, and it doesn't give you some time to think. And when it does, it's just like there's just so much that you can't just kind of stop. You're always moving to the next thing, always seeing how Kyle is basically tackling this challenge. And it's always very interesting how he tackles it in the way he does, whether it's just grinding or whether he has to find a unique way to come over this situation. It's just very interesting in how the story the story and the trials that he has to go through are, tackled and, just overcome. So it's very interesting. So let's go ahead and move to some of the cons that I think for some people they might not enjoy the series and might not, something that they might not want to get into. One is, I would say, maybe the espionage and the sci-fi-esque of a shadow government would throw some people off. Again, I'd really highly recommend you check it out before you just anything I say just kind of like throws you off and you just don't want to do this anymore and you don't even want to give this series a chance. Again, just go ahead and give it a chance. But if I say some things that just are not like what you prefer in an audiobook series, then, well, as long as you do your homework, then yeah, this is a series that you would, enjoy. But yeah, the espionage and the more sci-fi of it all and moving from thing to thing and the fast pace of the book series might be a little much for some readers, some people. But yeah, and kind of always trying to figure out what's going on in that kind of speedy of a series where you're trying to figure out, well, what's the shadow government? What's this? What's that? And I feel like that's dealt really well. But if you don't like being kind of in the dark constantly in a series, then that might turn you off from this series. And yeah, just but the way that is handled in this series, yeah, you don't know a lot what's going on, and you're feeling like you're right next to Kyle in this kind of situation where he's trying to figure things out. But some people just, don't really like that of an audiobook. They kind of want to know and figure it out as you're going in this audiobook series. But yeah, so that's something that you might not like. Other than that, I wouldn't say that's much more. The other side characters that are kind of brought into Kyle's life come and go, come back. He's made friends. He's been betrayed. He's got obstacles that he's trying to like overcome. And it's just very like, you see a character, the character goes away. So I don't know if that's something that someone might not like, but I kind of enjoyed again, it's espionage. It's more like run and gun, and you're just trying to figure out everything on the fly. You're trying to, get trustworthy people, but also like they, kind of leave you in a quick way as well. So that's definitely something to think about if you don't have lifelong characters. And some characters come back into the story, which is kind of like cool because you're like, oh, they're back. But yeah, it's just it kind of whips you around a little bit. So if you're not into that, then that could be another kind of con, I would say. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed what I've talked about so far. I hope it interested you. I really enjoy this series. There are 3 more books. Again, the omnibus that I was given, it was a 4-book series. So I still got 3 more videos to do. Again, I will leave a link to the omnibus audiobook from Audible, so you can go ahead and check out the summary by the author, so you can get more of a well feeling of what's going on. But I highly encourage you to check that out. The narrator's great. I enjoyed it. It was definitely different from other narrators that have done more of a fantasy esque type of like voicing, but more of like a sci-fi hard, military-esque government kind of voice. This author is just like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, I like what's going on here, and this is just very, very interesting, and it's nice to have different narrators that can do different things if like some of the top narrators could do everything, that would just kind of, I don't know, it wouldn't be a bummer. It would just be like, yeah. But yeah, this narrator definitely does a great job. So again, I hope you got something from this video. I hope my prattling on about how interesting and great this series is, called Winter Harvest in the Space Season series is. And I just hope you enjoyed it, and I cannot wait until I get into the next book. And it's exciting because I can't wait to see how things play out in this series. So I hope from my excitement you check it out at least, and maybe it'll be something that you will enjoy and get in on. And if not, then I saved you some time, and that's a +2. Gotta say it. It's a +2 if I save you from, spending something that you don't want to kind of get into. And yeah, I always love saving people time. So without further ado, I'll let you go. And again, in the comments, please let me know what kind of audiobooks you're reading. I would love to just get into another audiobook series. I recently finished this book and The Mark of the Fool. The Mark of the Fool for the first time was just another great audiobook that the story really interested me and just I latched onto. But yeah, so there's, again, a lot of audiobooks out there and that I'm listening to, and I would love to get into another one, especially with the sweet recommendations in the comments below. And again, I hope you enjoyed this. So I'll let you guys get back to your audiobooks and get back to my audiobooks. So until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Toodles!